I know y'all saw this, right? Steve Stoute was trying to explain the Jay-Z and Dame situation, right? And saying that, oh, he just outgrew they just outgrew each other, right? You hear that a lot. Oh, he just outgrew him. He hit it. He felt Dame hit his ceiling, but you never talked or spoke about your involvement in the situation. You see, that's why I'm here. Because see, Steve Stoute ain't gonna sit there and tell Shannon Sharpe anything, because Shannon Sharpe don't know anything about all this. So it's easy for you to just pass along, all your activities, all your ways, everything, right? And not tell the 100% truth of what's going on out here. Now, he felt so comfortable and so loose to sit there and talk about Dame Dash. But he didn't feel...
Even the Dame and Dash interview, as fucked up as that was, he's a gigantic, almost not. He blew it. He had Jay-Z, he had the most important artist of his generation.
So what happened with that relationship? How did that relationship that was so good sour so fast?
Dame's antics were just, it became like people over time, you mature. Right. It's like you didn't have friends at 16, but by the time you turned 19, they were still doing the same shit. Right. You were 16 and you're like,
Now, that's not the reason why. You see that? He sat there in front of Shannon Sharpe and said something that had absolutely nothing to do with the situation whatsoever. Now, I'm here to tell you guys the truth. And this is the reason why. You got all these people coming up with lies now. Now, here's the problem with what Steve Stoute is saying. Right? And I want to be clear. This is what Steve Stoute was saying about the situation, right? He's trying to blame that Dame Dash's attitude and the way he treated people, and he never grew up and all that. A lot of that stuff is true, but you have to realize Dame didn't get to where he wanted to be. They think Dame acted like that all the time in meetings and sitting down with people. No, he didn't. He got like that when people tried to disrespect him. But they're painting a narrative of Dame Dash to show you that Dame Dash was this person that couldn't nobody do business with, to try to hurt Dame even today in business, which has nothing to do with him. Now, here's the situation you have in front of you. Steve Stoute's never telling you his involvement in the situation. You see, that's the part I don't like. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy, Steve Stoute, because now you're lying. Now you're painting a narrative and not telling the people the truth about your involvement in the situation. Because your involvement in the situation was grand, because you were not there. Okay? When they were doing their thing, you weren't around. You came around after the Blueprint success. You split with Nas. You and Nas had a falling out. You weren't there for Stillmatic. You was over there with Jay-Z. That's when Nas got rid of you. After you failed to do the 3D, you failed to produce everything that you said that you could do for the Nostradamus album. Yeah. Hit the like button, good people. I know y'all just got here, but hit the like button up so they can know y'all real people. Y'all not bots. This is real talk. It's that real spill. Absolutely. So, when Jay and Nas was having their beef, he was on Jay's side. He got mad at Nas over Diddy opening up a bottle on top of his head, and he blamed Nas. Y'all didn't ride for me. What? that had nothing to do. That had nothing to do with Nas. Diddy was told not to appear on a cross, right? Them white people told him, don't you do that. So they had to take Diddy out of the video. So Diddy was like, yo, cut me out the video. Any scenes of me on that cross got to come down. Steve Stoute was supposed to take that video down, and he didn't. He was the manager. He said he told him, but MTV already had the raw cut. It was too late for them to make the edit. So they was like, look, we on the deadline, run it. So they run the video, and on the video, there's Diddy on the cross. And it only aired that one time. Diddy got chewed out about it. And man, he called Steve Stoute in the office so they could talk about it. And Diddy got a little, angry. And then the champagne bottle was bust over Steve's head. Bing! So he had to open up bottles on Steve. So Steve was still mad about what was going on. So after that, him and Nas fell out, and he went over there to Jay-Z. Now, what you doing over there with them, you're interfering in what they already got moving. Dame got Rockefeller. Okay? Dame Dashes did a deal to give them a partnership and part ownership in their own vodka, in Armadale Vodka. They stopped rocking Cristal. And what did you do, Steve Stoute? Steve Stoute comes in and interferes with that deal. He interferes in Dame Dash's business. That's what you did. He's not a manager. He is a lobbyist for all of these doggone brands. That's what he is. And they want to go work with a certain artist and have that artist represent their brand. They go get Steve Stoute. Steve's going to go to the projects. The president of the company's not going to run out and go to the projects to go get a rapper. They're going to get Steve Stoute to do it. That's Steve's job. So Steve Stoute's job is to go out into the hood, go find the people and get them a deal and get them to sign on and take pennies on the dollar to take this sponsorship deal. Stuff rappers was turning down in the 80s and 90s. Stuff that Nas turned down. He brought Budweiser to Nas. Nas was like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want Budweiser. So he turned down the money. So Steve Stoute was getting mad at Nas. You're afraid of success. So yeah, he got mad at Nas. Somebody who was afraid of success and all of this. You know, it's amazing what they were saying back then. So he was working with Jay, like Jay gets it. So he comes in and brings in Heineken for Jay-Z. So you bring in Heineken to Jay-Z, we got Armadale Vodka. That's what Dame is like. We own our own liquor. And now you cut in this messes up our business partnership that we got with Armadale. And you just put Jay-Z in a damn Heineken commercial. You see, and it was stupid. The commercial was dumb. Jay-Z got a flat check for that. They slide Jay a check, and Steve Stoute was in it because he wasn't in the business of Rockefeller. Steve Stoute was in the business of Jay-Z. He came in like, I'm gonna make Jay-Z some money. I'm not here to make Rockefeller money. Dame Dash is in the business of Rockefeller. So he's in there coming up with deals that will make the company money. And you're costing the company money and you're messing with his artists by trying to get his artists singular deals. So how in the world, why would this guy like you? Why would this guy like you? Oh no, Stoute gets a finder's fee, but he wants you to represent him. Like he wants to represent you, so he gets a percentage off you, plus the sponsorship company is hitting him off with a check too. So he's gonna double bubble off the whole thing. Now, all of these players in the game, he just knows he's a corporate guy. So he's always going to side with the corporation. So he's sitting there talking about Dame, who's an independent thinking ownership. Ownership is in Steve Stoute's lane. He's not about ownership. He's about how can we get in here and get a piece of this? How can they give us some money for this? That's it. He's gonna find the angle. That's just business. But that's the thing. Don't blame Dame Dash and get mad at Dame Dash for not liking you for sabotaging his business. You're interfering with his artists in their, in their brand because now you're representing him and doing what's best for him, but not what's best for Rockefeller. So why the hell would he like you? You're interfering. Jay-Z was a part owner into the business. So now he got a part of Rockaware. And they gave him, Dane came up with Rockaware. Armadale Vodka. So when they keep saying, make another hove, hell, didn't he have Kanye West? He made a better hove. They love to keep throwing that in his face. Like, yeah, make another hove. He did. He had Kanye West. He helped Cameron get to where they going. They can't, see, they try to take away a man's accomplishments. Yes, the way he talked to people was crazy, but you have to understand, These are people that never dealt with hip hop before in their life. Hip hop has never been in the rooms that they're in today. And they wouldn't have been if it wasn't for Dame Dash. Nobody was doing it like Dame Dash was doing it. Nobody had a liquor deal like that. Everybody started trying to go out and get liquor deals after that now, right? But they had owned their own portion. They had a percentage into the liquor. Now you see Diddy, you got everybody into the liquor, right? They were doing that in the early 2000s. He had the shoe deal with Pro Kids. They had the state property shoes. They were getting ready to launch a major distribution. But here comes Steve Stoute trying to negotiate with Nike. Then Reebok come in because they wanted 50 Cent. And then they had Jay-Z. So he comes to 50 Cent and was like, look, I can get you this, boom, boom, boom. 50 did business with him on that one deal. But he didn't sign with Steve Stoute because he saw what you did with Nas. He saw how you did with Nas and went over to Jay and you did this Reebok deal and he got mad at 50 because 50 decided, all right, thank you. That was good business. You got your cut, but I'm not finna sign with you. You're not finna be my manager. Oh, he didn't like that. Oh, how dare I got him that deal. Oh, biggest deal he ever got. He don't want to retain me? No. Don't need to. Thank you. You were paid. Now we're moving on. And ever since then, he has had a problem with 50 Cent. He would go on radio shows, say the agenda that the bosses work for. You were Steve Stoute and you did all these wonderful deals. Why was you working for Jimmy Iovine? You see he up there preaching Jimmy Iovine? Because Jimmy, you start working for Jimmy. That's why he preaching Jimmy. He was, how you get, Shannon, how you get that Apple deal? How you go in there and negotiate for Apple? How you think he got the Apple deal? Because he's cool with Jimmy Iovine. So he can walk up to Apple and do business because of Jimmy Iovine. He worked for Interscope and Jimmy. So you've been in this game 30, 40 years. Why are you still the worker? Steve Stoute? Because that's what you're doing. You've been taking, and taking. Dame Dash was building, and building. That's why you and him are different. That's why the two of y'all couldn't see eye to eye. You know how to be subservient to others with money and power. And they keep you rich. And you go hitting the streets, going to find what you can. I would never deal with him. He's a snake. Nah, he wasn't part of the reason for Nas and Jay. It's just another reason. It was just another pin in the wall. You know, of Jay wanting to be Nas. Is he Dame Diddy, Dame Daddy, or Dame Dummy? Oh, I get it. You be and he's Puffy. So now he's saying Dame Dash wasn't doing his job. That's why they had to go get Steve Stoute. He's like, why you think Jay got he went and got Steve Stoute? Because Dame must not be doing his job. So Nas is already highlighting the distrust that was going on at Rockefeller. So that's why Rockefeller was, being shattered by him saying, compared to beans, you whack. That still hit years later when Beans fell out with Jay. I know you remember Cat said, compared to Beans, you whack. I know, Scrap, you don't want to talk about that. So I'm telling you, it was going down. All of these things were going on behind the scenes. But Dame Dash had a reason not to like him. We got an ownership in it, right? Rockefeller, which meant not just Dame Dash. That means Biggs, everybody. We got Armadale Vodka. Jay was a partner. So Jay is a part owner of Armadale Vodka. Then you let Steve Stoute give you some bag and say, yo, Heineken want to pay us. They want to use you for this commercial spot. So they put him in a commercial spot. It didn't even go anywhere. Heineken just used them for that deal and that was it. It's like, what? That's it? A commercial? And y'all, you basically sabotaging your whole thing for a commercial? Well, this is a good look and it might lead to a deal. And they didn't do a deal with you. And y'all just look foolish. They got what they wanted. The Mariah Carey video, who put that together? With Mariah. Dame Dash. Put Jay-Z with Mariah Carey for the song. But who screwed it all up? Steve Stoute. He wanted to negotiate it for the Blue Streak soundtrack. But he wanted to handle the negotiations for that. Dame Dash got Mariah Carey on the song. Who comes in and screws it all up? Steve Stoute. Steve Stoute's interference with the deal, they paid Jay-Z $1 million to do the song. But in return for the $1 million, because Steve Stoute's like, I can get you $1 million for the feature on this movie soundtrack. Jay-Z was paid $1 million. Now, because of this $1 million song that he did, he was supposed to be on Mariah Carey's video, but he couldn't. He couldn't release another song until he couldn't even be featured in a music video or nothing for a time limit. So they had to wait. So Mariah Carey's video is getting ready to drop, and Jay-Z can't be in the video. He had to wait like 3-4 more weeks before he could be seen in a video because of the way the contract was structured. So the video was out, and in that video they had Jay-Z will be arriving in 3 weeks. They had it in the video. Y'all don't even know that went down. This idiot put that in the stipulation. Because he didn't know what he was doing. Yeah. Mariah Carey video with Jay-Z appearing in 3 weeks. Yeah, I think it was called Heartbreaker. That was the Mariah Carey video. and Jay-Z was supposed to be in it. But he never was in the original video because when they aired it, he couldn't be in the video. So they had this animated version of Mariah Carey on the screen like they in the movie theater, right? Mariah's in there watching it. Jay-Z will be here in 2 weeks in the video because they were going to film a video when Jay was eligible to make the video. See? Yeah. Yeah, Jay-Z couldn't be in the video. So now they fixed the video, and now Jay-Z's in the video. And so it's no longer the cartoon Mariah. Now Jay-Z is in the video, and he's Scarface now. He's sitting in the tub like Scarface, and they all watching the movie. Mm-hmm. So now Jay-Z is Scarface, sitting in the tub. That's not even Beyonce. This is before Beyonce. So the times that we speak about, when we talk about hip hop and everything back in the day, people forget how it was. Like Dame had to be that way, or they wouldn't have got in those rooms. A lot of the deals they got was because Dame was fearless. Dame wasn't letting nobody get screwed over. Dame be like, F you, we ain't taking it. If Dame wasn't doing these type of things, they were calling Dame back and doing business with Dame. So they might not have liked it, but they had to respect it because Dame was doing what he was supposed to do as a boss. And that's how he was treated. Like, y'all ain't gonna disrespect us. Y'all don't think we some ignorant rap Negroes. Y'all, everybody says, man, you don't talk to those people like that. Well, you've been talking nice to them forever, Steve Stoute. Why are you still begging? Why are you still working behind the white man? Why are you still working behind all of these people? Man, nothing surprised me about these dudes anymore. Nothing surprised me about any of these guys anymore. But it's what I told you. It's about who we like. The Nostradamus album, the music video was supposed to be in 3D. Steve Stoute was like, oh yeah, we talked to him. We're going to have the 3D glasses in there and the paper, and everybody get the 3D glasses, and the video going to be in 3D. What happened? Video come out, no 3D. And it was shot in like a 3D setting. So now the first 3D rap video is screwed up. Nas was ahead of the curve. And then they come out with 3D televisions, right? That was the new wave. 3D everything. Movies was coming out in 3D. Watching in 3D. 3D was back bigger than ever. And Nas was ahead of the curve and was like, see, y'all screwed it up. That was Stoute not knowing how to manage. He's a brand ambassador. Brands. I don't hate Steve Stoute or nothing like that. I just know what he is. So you're not, for somebody like Dame Dash, who's a boss and thinks like an entrepreneur never have a boss. Understand that word. We're about hustle, the grind, the success. That's what we're about. We're not about anything other than. Man, these dudes didn't know. They didn't know the half. It was like what 50 said. Steve Stoute is sell it, sell it, sell it, but own nothing. This is why you end up 30 years in the game working behind Jimmy Iovine and Interscope. Yeah, Stoute is always going to have millions because it's always going to be an artist he can go run to and cut a deal. Yeah, he did Wild Wild West, the Men in Black soundtrack. That sold like diamond. Then after it sold diamond, they went and moved it. You said, why did Lil' Kim and 50 Cent film the Magic Stick video? And why is 50 and Steve Stoute always beefing? They not really beefing right now. I mean, Steve Stoute was just jealous because 50 Cent just basically did a smart business move. He did a one-time deal with Steve Stoute, and Steve Stoute, he didn't have to retain Steve Stoute, and he chose not to. And Steve Stoute was bitter. He just like, I just made you the largest check ever. No, it wasn't because of that. It was because Magic Stick was supposed to be on 50 Cent's album. And what happened is during that time, they wanted the song for their album. Because Magic Stick wasn't even supposed to be 50 Cent. It was another artist. And then they ended up grabbing 50 Cent to do it. And so it was a miscommunication. They wanted it for Lil' Kim's album, but Dre is like, everybody's trying to get, on the 50 Cent album. So Dre is thinking, okay, this is the biggest album coming out. This is his debut album. So this is like anticipated. This is gonna be a monster. So they were like, okay, well, naturally, you would want it to be on this album. But 50's got a deadline coming up, and they knew it. They knew what the situation was, and they wanted Fifth to sign the release papers so that they could pay Fifth for the song. And Fifth was pissed because he knew what they was doing. They kept sitting in the release so that they would sign it. And they wouldn't sign the release. Lil' Kim them, they were stalling on their end because they knew 50 had an album deadline. He had to send his album in. So he was like, man, you know what? F it. So they sent the deadline in to the album. The album's been turned in. So 50's pissed. He's already mad because he wanted Magic Stick on the album. So he was nice and hot about that. And they sent him the money, and it was a large amount, for what he was getting at the time. They paid him like $50,000 or something like that for the feature, a flat rate. It was the most he had ever gotten paid for a feature. And they took Magic Stick and played it. That's why 50 never promoted it, nothing. He was pissed with Magic Stick. And she put it out on the album. They got the release for it. Fifth was like, and Dre was like, man, that's only gonna help us sell more albums, man. Just let it go. You're gonna have way more hits than that. And he was just pissed. So he didn't like how they rudely did business. So when he did the interview, he just blasted Lil' Kim and let Lil' Kim them have it. That's just how it is. It was his debut album. So they supposedly gotten past all this now, after all these years. You know, 50 Cent tour bus got shot up. It was crazy. Yeah, Kim rolled with real, you know, guys that went out there and took care of business. I don't like the disrespect. You know, why the disrespect? That's what I don't get. And that's the hurtful part of the whole thing, man. It's like, why you feel you gotta dump on Dame Dash when he ain't got nothing to do with you? But you want to dump on Dame. I could understand if Jay say, hey, you know, this is what I think is best for me. But if what Dame was doing was so bad, why did you end up with Rockefeller? And then Rockaware. How you end up with it and everybody else is bought out? You ever notice that? If what Dame was doing was so bad, why did you take Rockefeller? Why did you take Kanye from him? Because you didn't even want Kanye West to rap. You wanted him to just make beats. Dame Dash gave him a record deal. Not you. Dame signed Kanye West. And he outsold you in about 3 albums. He was the largest selling artist on Rockefeller. It's not Jay-Z. It's Kanye West. Dame already smacked the living piss out of him before. The reason why is because of the deal that they had with Polygram and Def Jam. When they refinanced, when you re-upped your deal, that put them in a vulnerable position. They got a big lump sum of money, but if you're not selling a certain amount of records and you're not hitting that benchmark, now you're subject where your shares can be absorbed. And that's what happened. So when they restructured the company, they bought out Biggs and Dame. They were in a position now to buy out the company. They tried to do it when they did the initial deal after Blueprint. They tried to break up Rockefeller then and get rid of Dame and Biggs. Jay-Z wasn't having it and told them about it. And they were hot about it. And he was like, nah, man, I ain't gonna do that to him. This is the big money. These my partners. I can't do that. So they went ahead and did what they had to do. But that's why I keep telling you, this is this is a whole different situation altogether. Mm-hmm. Well, you got a lot of people who keep making observations into these things, and these guys try to rewrite their history. Because so much time has went past, they say, well, let's go on and rewrite history. No, the shades holder, baby. I don't know if the shades holders can hold these shades. Okay, there we go. Now, he like L.A. Reid. L.A. Reid was a president of Def Jam. That's not Steve Stoute at all. Steve Stoute is never that. He's a brand guy. No, he never wanted Kanye West. He didn't even want to get on Kanye's album. You know why he... Look, I'm going to tell you how much of a snake Jay is. When they got Cameron over there, it was making Jay look crazy. Because Dame did that. That was showing people, okay, we got a problem. Because when they came over there, this was right when the problems were happening. When, you know, right out the Blueprint, all of a sudden here comes, you know, Stillmatic, and boom. Right after that, it was Jay-Z had like 3 months of riding the high horse. He had September, October, November. By December, it was all over. December 2001, it was all over for Jay. So right after that, everybody who was big Jay-Z stans, they were gone. Ether came out in December and eviscerated everything. Yeah. So now Cameron comes in to the company on the heels of that. The beef is going on now. So when they arrive, this Nas beef is going on. So they had nothing to do with it. They stood out. They ain't say a word. They just came in and was doing their thing. They didn't get involved in it. And, you know, they from Harlem. And Jay kind of had a little problem with Harlem, you know, over this whole Rich and Poe thing and Harlem World and those cats with Mace. And then here's Cam, who he really don't have a problem with, but he ain't really, you know, they ain't really boys like that. He know that's Dame's guy. And they cool with, you know, rest in peace, K. Slay. So, yeah, K. Slay. So if they cool with K. Slay, and K. Slay was the one that premiered Ether, and he up in Baselines, and he walking past Jay-Z, walking out the place, because he there with Cam. Jay is hot as fish grease. And he had told Cam, he was like, now, he's like, man, be careful who you bringing up in here, B. Now, what if I was to just, you know, what if I was just to take off and just knock out, you know, K. Slay? Now, that puts you in a bad spot. You know, and he was just like, Cam was shocked. Because he was like, man, you got a problem with K. Slay? Like, he didn't even understand what the beef was, because he didn't pay no attention to He the one that broke ether, you know, and broke that out to the world. But Jay was hot. You brought K Slay in his place, man. He was like, and Jay just, they walked past each other, didn't speak. And Jay was like, he told Cam, like, man, what if I'd have just knocked him out? You know, then what? Then Cam go and take Jay-Z vocals off of the record. Woo. Who? That's where it went left. When he deleted his verse off of the record. It would have been horrible. Had that verse came out, it would have been horrible. He did Jay a favor. Jay was not in his right mind yet. He was trying to get there. He was just venting. So everything he was doing was just all going at Nas. And it was just, he couldn't even get it. His mind wasn't right. And he had to get through that process. And he was just spewing on every song. Yeah, real niggas respect it. Fake niggas won't beef because they know that's the only way we ever gonna speak. We never gonna see eye to eye. Your type of rely don't recognize. It's all televised. Mobsters don't talk. I get it, B. There's no business in it. It only brings police. Wanksters want to talk and put your name in the streets. Most times end up where they brains or they feature go. You should know if you gonna do something and you run the radio. We all know you fronting. They shooting. Nobody dying. Somebody gotta put somebody body on somebody iron sometime soon, or somebody lying. I ain't buying that shit y'all shoveling. I ain't ducking for nothing, cousin. I'm too tall to act small, you liars. So he was venting a lot on a lot of records. So that's why he was hanging with all the Philly cats like Oskino, Chris and Neef, all them dudes, because he was rapping like Philly. He needed them as his muse. But he was never going to make them dudes millionaires. Kanye West made everybody billionaires. Kanye West was the reason Jay stayed relevant. He was a relic. He dropped that Kingdom Come album and spent $20 million on it. And it didn't sell nothing. It barely got to 2 million. Kanye West had to come and save his career. Blueprint 3, Kanye West. That's all it is. Just Blaze was fired and Kanye West was hired. And it went from there. They never was the same. Ever again. He ain't make no Jay better. He reinvented Jay. Remember Jay had on all the baseball cap when it all broke off to the side and all that, right? Jay stopped doing that. Jay got out of that. Jay started wearing black shades with like rhinestone black leather. Then he's in all this satanic with the rhinestone skull shirt, and it's on to the next, right? Oh no. I'm like, what the hell is this? Jay-Z in a black, like padded leather jacket. I'm like, what the hell? That's some stuff Kanye will be wearing. So I told you, the pivot was there. You just had to be there to witness it. It was always there. Cameron ain't a diss rapper. You see, that's the thing. Cameron ain't a diss rapper. He's just not. He don't know how to not be a diss head. Hey, what's up? Just looking around and paying bills. Hey, they got little Bootsy chips. Look at this. Look at Bootsy. He got his rap snacks. Oh, Bootsy. Oh, no. If you look at it, you'll start to see it's exactly what I said, you know. If you look at if you look at the market, it's cool. A brand ambassador is not a problem, you know, but when do you see any white brand ambassadors, right, talking about somebody else who's an entrepreneur? You don't see it, do you? That's what I'm saying. There was no need for that man to try to tear down Dame Dash. Dame Dash has nothing to do with you. Y'all don't do business together. So why are you in there trying to tear him down? If you want to say, I just think they probably outgrown each other and that's basically it. Jay wanted to do his own thing, which was totally in his right to do. But how, when Dame Dash has built multiple $100 million companies, when you've never built a $100 million company, it is hard to disrespect that man when you sit there and you see that happen. How? This dude built a $100 million company not once, but like 3-4 times. Now you might say he wasn't able to maintain it, and the way his practices was, you know, he ended up missing out or whatever, but hey, it is what it is. But one thing's for certain, two things for sure, is that he was never, ever going to be somebody that was going to work for somebody else. That was never Dame Dash's mentality. He didn't put himself through that. He's an entrepreneur. So if you're an entrepreneur, it's only going to make sense to you from that standpoint of never, ever having a boss. Right, you don't want a boss. If you're an entrepreneur, what the hell do you want a boss for? I know I wouldn't want one. I wouldn't know how to work for a boss no more. I know how to work with somebody, but not for them. I've had my stages when I was an employee. I've had that when I was in a stage where I work for someone. So I know what being a good employee is. So I was that. When I was an employee, I was the best at whatever I did. I was not going to be the guy that's taking off work all the time just to go kick it. I knew if I'm missing work, I'm missing pay. So I know what it's like. So an employee can't tell me what it's like. Like, man, you don't know what it is. Yeah, I do. I was an employee once. So I know all about it, buddy. And I know another thing about it as well. I know when someone's being lazy. I didn't have those vices. I wasn't out high all night. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I don't have no stupid tattoos on me. Waste. I saw my eyes was on the prize. I was thinking further. This is a building block, a step to get to another level. So no one's disrespecting Steve Stoute, but to me, it don't make you seem better by you talking down on somebody such as Dame Dash. That don't highlight you to me. You know what I'm saying? That'll never, ever make sense to me. To see somebody get highlighted for disrespecting people. You feel me? Especially when that person don't business with you. And you a brand ambassador. Like when he was on the Breakfast Club talking about 50 Cent. That didn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I mean that's how when you look at it, man, that's what it really means to the rest of the world, man, and everybody who's looking at it, cause you know it's easy to see. So it's about people, man, and exactly. So it's all about you could outgrow people, you can outgrow and move forward and do different things. And he's right about that. You know, people outgrow people. They go in different directions. They say, hey, this ain't for me. And they move forward or they don't move forward. But one thing's for sure, they're not going to do something that contradicts what it is that they feel they should be doing. You know? So anyway, shouts out to Kwame Brown, Buzz of Life, subscribe to him. Welcome to HDII TV, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez, Mondo Black TV. Yeah, so yes, and I'm out the door. Don't forget to go to the Patreon. We got a lot more in store.